Guys, when it comes to getting hits on target, really being proficient with your firearm, having consistency when you're shooting, very important to have a good trigger and trigger control. One of the best ways to achieve that is through dry fire practice. Not expensive, you can shoot without all the recoil and the noise. You can really focus in on your trigger pull. But one of the best ways to do that is with the Mantis X system. Now we have the Mantis X10 and we've had it for 4 years. It's one of the best ways to be able to practice and really understand what you're doing when that trigger is being pulled. But it also saves you a lot of time and ammunition cost. But yet, it really improves your shooting skills, more than even going out and putting shots on paper. Now, there are a lot of features to the Mantis X10 that really can be overwhelming. But honestly, you pull it out of the box, it doesn't take just a few minutes to get to that basic training level. And that alone will really help you to achieve much better accuracy. And then if you want, you can go to the other features. Guys, again, we've had this for 4 years, and it has really improved my trigger pull, understanding what I'm doing and what to avoid. Now we want to give a big thank you to Mantis for sending the X10 for the original review, and this is still the original Mantis X10. And we really appreciate their help.
Now the Mantis X comes in this box, and you just lift it out. Inside you're going to have a quick start guide, and first thing you want to do is to download the Mantis X app. It's free, so it's really easy to do, and then we'll set it up. Then you get the Mantis X system. It's in this little hard case. You can keep everything right there. This is what goes onto your rail system. There are some adapters. There's even a magazine adapter where you can put it on the bottom of your magazine. Whether you don't have a Picatinny rail on your firearm, or if you want to do holster draws. Right here is the power button, and then here is where you pull down to put it onto your rail. Also comes with a barrel adapter, some rubber spacers, you get your USB cable, and you get a Picatinny rail adapter. Now the Mantis X is rechargeable, and so you can take this little cable, which is included, and we just pop it in and then put this into any USB. Now you can open up the app, make sure that your Bluetooth is on, and then take the Mantis X and the little power button right here on top, just press it and it'll start flashing green. Now just hit connect, and now you've connected, and this will stop flashing once it's connected. Here at the top of the screen you're going to have your introduction, and it will give you a lot of different details on what you need to do. We have holster analysis, recoil meter, open training, shot timer, Mantis X benchmark, time benchmark. I mean, it's just all kind of different things that you can do. And here you've got an introduction course that you can actually take. Basic marksmanship, advanced marksmanship. I mean, it just goes on, basic combat and elite marksmanship. And there's a lot of things that we can do in that. Now we hit settings, and then you have a number of different things you can do. First thing, I'm going to do pistol. I've already set this up before. Right hand, I get to select a firearm. And so we can go down the list and just choose whatever we're going to do. We're going to use the Glock 19 today. So we can go straight into the Glock 19. Go back to settings. We're going to do dry fire, but you can do live fire. And there's a lot of other single action, double action, live fire. I mean, even does CO2. So if you have a airsoft pistol, you can do that as well. Now where you place your piece on the rail, and so I like it forward, but forward is where the battery connection is toward the back, and then of course backwards. So you can do it either way. Location mount, and of course we're going to be on the bottom. You get audio feedback, which you can do speech or you can do just a chime. Check volume. Then of course you have all these different settings. Guys, there's a lot to it, but really to get started, it's really simple. So we're going to go back to open training. Of course, you want to verify that the gun is unloaded, and then go ahead and put this on your rail. Sometimes it's a little tight going on. Now we want to pull this down, and then we can line this up and it'll snap right into place. You want to make sure it's stable. Then to get things going, you just hit start. Now, this does not mean that you have to have a target set up. You just need to have a point of aim. It's going to analyze everything about the way you set your trigger, where your finger's on the trigger, if you're holding too tight, if your wrist is breaking, if you're going and anticipating recoil. There's a lot of different things, and it will analyze each setting. So we're going to go ahead and fire off one shot. Now this shows my score is 75.9, and of course I wasn't aiming, I was just holding it loosely. We'll move it over, trigger press, it's just one shot, so this is our hold movement and our trigger press. This actually diagram shows you exactly what you were doing. And you can actually bring this in really close, or you can bring it out. Now it goes into a matrix of how you're doing, holding it and then the trigger press. All right, we're going to try it again. Now again, there we go, we're analyzing everything. Now we have dry fire, we're right-handed, we have the Mantis X in the forward position. Now we just go ahead and hit start. This will keep our score, this will count off our shots. Now we're finished with the first session, so we're just going to stop. This way we get our average score, total time, and we took 5 shots. Hit done, and then we can reset to start over. Now that the session is over, you can actually swipe and you can get all the different analytics of how you're shooting, hold movement, trigger press movement, and then it goes into each of the shots. So here at the bottom it says 1, that was my first shot. 2, second, and you can see movement, trigger press, again, same thing, and then follow through is in the red, I believe. So it definitely gives you an indication of what you're doing. Now I'll be honest, I just drank 3 cups of coffee, so I was a little jittery. But here's the thing, you may be somewhere where you've drank coffee, and so this really allows you to kind of hone in and adapt for whatever situation you're in. And you can draw this in and get a bit of a closer view if you want to really get analytical. Now the thing is once you start using this, you'll start to notice a pattern, and that's really the things that you're going to want to work on. And as you can see, that last score was my worst score, and I really knew that I'd done that. So this will, again, it gives you all the information you need to be able to really improve your shooting. And here at the bottom you have a little note icon, and you can click on it and you can put different notes. You know, I could put in here, I drank too much coffee or whatever I want to put, and just to know what I'm doing. I went back to the first shot, and this way I can play all the action. Right here is a little play icon. This shows me holding it, getting it ready. I was a little bit all over the place. Then I fired the shot, and then that was the reset. And then you can actually just put this in the trash if you want. I mean, guys, there are so many different options with this. I mean, you can get as detailed and particular as you want to, and that will help you to improve. And then again, we can just hit reset. And we can start over. And of course, this does store your different sessions.
But this also shines when you take this to the range and you introduce that noise, the recoil, and just that environment. And that'll really tell you the improvements that you're making with the Mantis X. But definitely, even Mantis X will say that your scores will be lower at the range, but they'll definitely be higher than they were before once you start practicing with the Mantis X. And you haven't just drank 3 cups of coffee.
Well, we're just going to be shooting some Fiocchi 9mm. This is 115 grain, no big deal. And
just to let you know, in case, you know, ammunition can make a little bit of a difference, but especially with the recoil part. But overall, I mean, this stuff shoots really consistently. And a big thanks to Fiocchi. Now, while it does not necessarily account for your accuracy, you can see the one I pulled. So I really wanted to show that because it definitely hit really low. So again, figuring all this out is going to be vital so you don't have this. And when you get to your home page, hit history. And this shows you trigger control. And this analyzes it. It shows you the direction and average score. And then you can just swipe. And this shows you the problems you're having and how to correct them. I think this is one of the best pages right here. It gives you a lot of information. Slapping the trigger, too much trigger finger, other, too little trigger finger, pushing forward, tightening fingers. This is really something that you can really hone your skill. And then when you go to the other, this is the last 250 shots. Shows where they are. Now, you're not necessarily aiming at a specific point, but this is not an accuracy thing as much as just where you're putting your shots. And then these are the scores that you've made. And see here, 90%, we have the highest, the different scores that you have on average. And you can delete some of these, and especially if it messes up your training. One time I pulled the trigger when I wasn't even ready to fire. So that's where this comes in. But I can delete that, and what it'll do, it'll stay, but it'll let you know and analyze really your consistent shooting. This also shows 1 day, 7 days, 2 weeks. It goes all the way up to 12 months and then all. So this just gives you an idea of how much progression you've done over this period of time. Now we go to groups. And this allows you to train together. So if you have friends that have it and you want to talk about it and compare notes, things like that, this is a great way to do it. There are so many different things on this app. And then we can go to our settings and we're ready to start again.
Now the Mantis X system starts out at $99, goes all the way up to the Elite, and the Elite is $249. A lot of features with this one, and a lot of the things you can upgrade with the basic packages. So there's a lot of products over on mantisx.com. Check it out. I really think that this is a system that you can grow into, starting out very simple and then moving it up. One thing that I failed to mention is this is also good for bow, and then again you can shoot it with airsoft. So there's a lot of potential with this system. I believe that the basic model is only for dry fire, but if that's what you need to do, dry fire is excellent practice. And guys, the price of ammo right now, even though $249 may seem like it's a high price, that would be less than one class. And this is something you can keep with you at all times. Dry fire at home, shooting at the range, I mean, it is a complete system.
So guys, if you really want to improve your trigger pull, if you want to get those shots closer, if you want to understand what you're doing when you pull that trigger, the Mantis X system is the best on the market. There are so many different features, again, guys, it can be overwhelming. But really, if you just use the basic level, it's going to improve your skill dramatically. And a big thank you to Mantis X for making this video possible. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America, long live the Republic. Guys, when it comes to being very proficient, one of the best ways is dry fire practice. Having that trigger control. Okay. Definitely pulled one.
I hope you're talking about that last one.
The way you're holding the gun, or they get that. But guys, it really.